There is this illusion about broken things not being able to be fixed. But let me tell you today that your broken relationship can be fixed if you do not give up. Relationships go south sometimes. Humans are complex creatures and our love lives are even more complex. Hurt is inevitable in significant relationships, but pain and strife don't have to mean it's the end. Many couples find that working through conflict strengthens their bond. All relationships require work, love, and patience to succeed. This is especially true when mending a broken relationship. As days go by and our lives get busier, it is often our links with our loved ones that suffer the most. When communication and connection break down, it takes knowing both yourself and your partner to make the meaningful changes needed to turn things around. Like so many things, working on our romantic relationships can be difficult. Sometimes the grievances and frustrations we have with our partner or our circumstances run deep. It can be hard to forgive or move on when there are emotions like shame or guilt at play. If you want to reset your relationship, you have to be ready for a fresh start. But that starts with a deepened understanding of your love, and it starts with accepting yourself. Broken things can be fixed, but the fixing is often harder than the breaking. Are you ready to fix your relationship? Then get ready to fix yourself. If your broken relationship must be fixed, then you must be ready to work. There are a few things you need to consider first before you go ahead to fix your relationship. Determine if the other person wants to fix the relationship. There is no sense in trying to fix something if you are the only one willing to do the work. If your partner is unapologetic for mistakes, dismissive of your desire to talk, or continues hurtful behavior, it might be time to move on. It takes two people to mend a broken relationship. If you are the only one trying to save things, then you will never succeed. Another thing to take into consideration is to determine why the relationship is in trouble. All relationships go through rough patches at one point or another. As the novelty of your first few months together wears off, problems and stress start to pile up, and things you once found cute begin to annoy you to no end. While there are always small issues in a relationship, some issues can cause problems when they linger under the surface for too long. You don't believe your opinion is respected. You feel like your partner doesn't care about your needs. You feel your partner is not helping with chores, bills, kids. You don't communicate well and/or argue frequently. Talk with your partner about what is bothering you. Many times, relationships end or hit rough spots when there is not adequate communication going on between the two parties. While difficult, you have to be willing to share your problems and issues with your partner to have any hope of fixing them. Make time to be honest with your partner. Your concerns have to come out in the open or they will never be fixed. After learning this thing, do is understand how to fix the wedding, of course, with the help of the Lord. As an individual in a relationship, you must understand why a relationship fails, and some of the reasons are a clashing of expectations. All suffering and unhappiness in life comes down to a failure of expectations. Getting mad, sad, or frustrated is all a result of disappointment. When things don't go the way we thought they would, it upsets us and we look for someone to blame. The same can be said of our relationships. One of the most common reasons for a coupling breakdown is a clashing of expectations. Somewhere along the line, the two of you came to expect different things from each other and couldn't keep up the game. This isn't a good thing or a bad thing. It just is, and it's something that happens naturally over time. We change, and as we change, the things we want from life and the people around us change. The key to happiness is realizing this, and realizing too that everything is impermanent. Everything changes, including our relationships. Nothing is necessarily forever, and nothing is ever guaranteed. Another factor is trust issues. At some level, everyone has a certain degree of trust issues. Loss of trust is one of the most harmful contagions in any relationship, and one of the most common reasons we fail to meet eye to eye with our partners. Trust issues can stem from many factors, including childhood trauma, but it always results in some unsavory behaviors that can be damaging not only to ourselves, but to our partners and families as well. When we don't trust the people around us, we don't trust ourselves, and we leap into things like unreasonable rigidity, physical and sexual infidelity, emotional infidelity, and violent and disruptive jealousy and possessiveness. If trust is a major issue in your relationship, you must examine whether that lack of trust is based on a pattern of evidence or just emotional baggage that hasn't been let go of yet. Consider honestly whether your missing trust is based on substance or a culmination of unjustified fears you haven't addressed yet. Another thing is communication or breakdown. Communication breakdowns are one of the most critical pieces of any successful relationship and one of the most common reasons they break down. Numerous studies have identified communication as one of the primary reasons couples seek therapy, as well as one of the biggest reasons they seek divorce or separation. The way you communicate with your partner can be one of the biggest indicators of where your partnership is and where it's going. If you treat one another regularly with contempt, which is the opposite of respect, then odds are there's a poison somewhere that's eating away at your connection. There are several ways to fix a broken relationship, one of which is to make peace with and accept the undesirable elements of your partner. The first step in fixing any problem that we have is often acceptance. This is doubly true when it comes to fixing our relationships. When we commit to loving someone, it has to be completely and without exception. While you may not love the fact that your partner is allergic to dogs, making it impossible to ever own a puppy of your own, you have to learn to accept that fact, rather than just begrudgingly moving on. Failing to accept all facets of our partners, the good and the bad, leads to resentment and an inability to be flexible and understanding with one another. If you want to heal the hurts that are ripping apart the fabric of your love, start with accepting one another as you are, not as you want the other person to be. Secondly, a showing of genuine interest. The longer we spend with someone, the better we think we know them. When we get too comfortable, we go on autopilot, and when that happens, we can forget to show genuine interest in our partners and the things that are important to them. Whether or not you have a lot of common interests and concerns, you have to deepen your friendship by cultivating an interest in the interest of the people you love. Regularly inquiring into their lives and the things that make them tick takes effort. But it's also an expression of love and commitment. Make it a point to ask your partner about their life, their hopes, and their dreams, and you might just be surprised at what you uncover along the way. Then the next thing to do is respect boundaries. What boundaries do you set with your partner? What boundaries do they have with you? If you have trouble answering one or both of those questions, chances are there is a serious imbalance in your relationship that needs to be corrected. Our boundaries and our limitations are the indications we set of what we will and will not tolerate. They are a manifestation of our self-worth, and without them, we create adversity in our life that is damaging. For us to feel comfortable in our relationships, our boundaries, as well as those of our partners, needs to be clearly defined. These borders indicate everything from what you see as appropriate behavior in your partner to how much privacy you require for your mental well-being. Get familiar with your own needs and the limitations of your partners, and work hard to negotiate agreeable compromises where those things just don't meet up. If you come from the mindset that solutions exist for all these problems, you'll find them, but you're going to have to do a little digging. Another thing you can do to fix your broken relationship, even though broken, is resolution and forgiveness. How much have you to resolve and forgive past hurts? Odds are, not as much as you think you have. More often than not, a breakdown in a relationship is the result of failure to resolve a previous hurt, misunderstanding, or injury. If past conflicts haven't been fully worked through, those wounds can stay open for a long time, festering and bleeding until they become something toxic to your relationship. Let go of grudges and recognize the importance of reviewing past disappointments with a critical eye. In retrospect, the hurts inflicted by our partners are more often caused by misunderstandings than actual maliciousness, but we need time and space to recognize and accept that. Forgive your partner for their missteps and acknowledge that they are human, just as you are, and capable of all the foibles entailed with that mortality. If something they did continues to peeve you off, over time, bring it up with them. And don't be afraid to be as accepting of your reactions as you are of theirs.